then your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200-something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind. Talking about Justin Bieber.
Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Thursday, folks. April 30th. End of April already. Holy cow. How does that happen? Let's get some tunes playing here. What should we play today? I was just listening to We Built This City. We built this city on rock and roll. You got to play some good fire up tunes for the morning. Get yourself in a good mood. That's a must. That's a must have. This one's titled My 10-Year Plan to Outperform Bitcoin. And it's not going to be a long episode because it's pretty simple. XRP. That's it. See you tomorrow. Oh, Arnie. We had the ducks there. Oh, Arnie's... going on back there, Arn? Arnie's here today. Maybe we'll even see Lux. He's outside, scaling the walls, scaling the property, making sure we got no intruders. And I had a little bit of a black space there between the ducks and Alex Jones. I just thought it was a little bit too much. Somebody in the comment section said the ducks are very relaxing and peaceful. And so I was like, okay, well, yesterday we transitioned directly from the ducks to Alex Jones screaming. So I figured we should have at least like a 5-second, get ready. So I think that's a way to do it. We had another duck. What would you call it? Connection. This is what I've been giving Arnie for the last year here before every show. I didn't even realize it. Real duck, though. So I don't know if that's good or bad because we're eating ducks. Duck's actually good, though. I don't know how many people have had duck here before, but these are Arnie's treats. Hand-wrapped real duck with sweet potato. So we got ducks everywhere. Ducks are showing up everywhere. Figured I'd just share that because I needed a few more things in here. So yes, this one today is titled My 10-Year Plan to Outperform Bitcoin. And it's something we've talked about before a while ago, but definitely something worth talking about many, many times. And I'm going to add my own little twist to it. But anyways, welcome everybody. Welcome YouTube. Welcome Rumble. Welcome the Zap stream. My friends over on Nostr. I don't know who's there yet, but we should tell Nostr that we're live. But I kind of like this. Let me know in the chat. Are you guys digging the ducks? I figured we might as well watch some ducks for 10 minutes as we get ready for the show. Kind of like a nice little pregame ducks. But I think it's going to stick. I think it's going to stick. Let me know what you think. Okay, Zapstream, come on, baby. Arn, you want to? Okay, I was going to say, do you want to say hi to everybody? But he didn't want to. Anyways, YouTube, Rumble, Zapstream. Welcome back to another episode here of Reason to Believe. Reason to believe. There's a lot of reasons not to believe in the world and in humanity right now, but we're gonna find some good ones. That's the point of the show, to bring some hope to people out there, because that's really what Bitcoin's done more than anything else for myself and for a lot of people, is give us a sense of hope finally that everybody seems to be desperately searching for. So reason to believe, that's the idea here. And it kind of focuses on two things. Not two things. I keep saying that, but it's not two things. I guess it is. What the hell am I talking about? But we focus on modern stoicism, modern version of stoicism, and hard money. Modern stoicism mixed with hard money. That's kind of the theme around here. That's what we're doing. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. Let me just fix the title here quickly. No, it's not going to let me. That's okay. We'll just stick with the same title as yesterday. No problem. No problem. Looks like we got a good freaking crew on Zapstream today. It's showing zero viewers, but I don't think that that's the case because I see some chats, I see some zaps, and I see some beautiful people in there. We'll start the show today. Big shout out to the boys and the girls in Vegas. I'm sure some are waking up with a little hangover today. I would have been for sure. Every time I leave Vegas, it's it's funny. Last year, I kind of had mixed emotions because I was like, well, I'm definitely going to come back for the conference next year because I just had such a good time. But the other part of me was like, Jor, we're never coming back to Vegas. So the one on my left shoulder, I guess, won the argument this year. We didn't end up in Vegas, but it was nice to see. Big shout out to Jerry last night, who in the midst of everything managed to not only do a live stream, but coordinate it in a way where they had a couple different people talking. Really cool. I was we were kind of watching something in the background, but I was kind of tuned into it the whole time. Listening, watching, hearing how the experience was this year. But it was Jerry. Well, Backpacker was kind of the MC on the show. Backpacker, Kev, 21 South Street, Jason Yerzy, and Lauren. Lauren was on there too. And the kids, Hodler, Flipper. I don't know if Anon was on there. And Fanny, I didn't see them. And then Jerry. So big shout out to the family there. Cheers to everybody in Vegas. I hope you had a great week. I really wish that I could have been there. But it just didn't work out this year. And maybe it was a little bit my left side bias saying we're never going back to Vegas. I don't know. Every time I leave that city, I just feel like I got absolutely robbed. I don't know why. You know, you leave some cities and you're like, oh man, I could live there. I can't wait to be back here. And then Vegas is like, oh man, get me out of here as fast as I possibly can. I'm never coming back. This city just absolutely stole from me. Vegas is like that. There's not many cities like that, really, but Vegas is one of those cities. So I really missed the people. I did not miss the venue, but I saw that they're going to Nashville next year. The conference is going to Nashville. So David Bailey answered my Bitcoin prayers. Anyways, let's start with Noster today. Noster knows we're live now. Noster, what's going on? What's going on today? We got Letha the Icon with a shot of espresso to start the day. Letha the Icon. Shot of espresso. We got Maria 2000, also known as Maria 1000, Maria 2000, Maria 2500, Maria 5000, Maria 10,000 with a shot of espresso as well. Can you tell I've had some espresso today? Ewok. Look at that. He zapped 42 with a little duck. Thank you, Ewok. Josh says, Letha and Maria 2.5, 5. Scotty Boy's here. Scotty is back in the chat. Good morning, Scotty. Or as Josh calls you, Scotto. The zap worked. Yes, man. Joshua, the king himself, is here today. He says, Arn, bark twice if smash buying Bitcoin pleases you, no matter the amount. Amen to that. Isn't that the truth? That might be the comment of the day from the king. What's going on out here? Crazy. Never know what the hell's going to happen out here in the wild. Never know what's going to walk by, fly by, hop on the railing. But we got another beautiful day here today. We got some clouds. As good as it is to see a clear blue sky, it's also nice to see some real clouds once in a while, you know? Not the fake ones. But Joshua, thank you, man. The king with the Josh Zap, the King Zap, 8,000. 888 units of freedom. Cheers, buddy. Good to see you in the chat today. Scotty said, I might be back later. If not, have a good stream. Okay, well, we'll try to hold things down without you, buddy. Thank you for the zaps. Letha, Scotty, Sats and Sunsets with number 14 for show number 14 today. I better put that at the top of my notepad. 14. Josh said, I love duck meat. She's pretty tasty. Agree. Letha says, good morning, Bad Gal B. How come Bad Gal B's chats don't show up in here? That's what scares me about frickin' Nostr, because I feel like there's people in there and I sometimes just, the messages don't show up and they probably think that I'm ignoring them. Bad Gal B, good morning. It's good to see you. I don't see you, but it's good to see you. And we got Mark, Bob, Stewie, 65 Sats. Says, heading out for an appointment shortly. Have a great day, everyone. Okay, Mark. We'll hold things down. Thanks for the support. 1650. And Jake's over there too. Jake, you're a little bit late over there, man. You're usually the first one there. Jake says, good morning, good morning. And what the hell else do we got going on today? I got about 1,000 freaking comments to get here. Oh, we're buzzing today. I thought there'd be a little bit of a conference hangover, but I guess not. We're here. Okay, let me check on Rumble next. What's going on, Rumble? The Rednecks. How are the Rednecks today? We got 30 people over there. Pretty good turnout so far. Not bad. Half the people have pressed the thumbs up button. And we got a couple of subscriptions. Some castles have been built today. Some Rednecks born. Praetorian gave one membership. Who got that one, Praetorian? Who got it? Doesn't say. Oh, never mind. It does. Sharon B got Praetorians. Sharon B, one castle. Thank you, Praetorian. And Joshua also saw some white in the chat and said, we need more red. We need more rednecks. Joshua coming in with the zaps, coming in with the castles. Who got that one? Stripes. Stripes got it. Was gifted a membership by Joshua the King. So thank you, Praetorian. Thank you, Joshua. The Guardian and the King holding things down over on Rumble. Cheers, Rumble. Good morning. Let's see who's in the chat. We got the captain, first of the day. The captain himself, first of the day. Good morning, Captain. Praetorian's here. Good morning, Jor and YouTube compatriots. On YouTube and on Rumble. Good morning, Jor and Visionaries. I like that one. Most of the Visionaries are on Rumble, I think. So we got to give them some a favorable support. Sats and Sunsets. The Castle Maker, the Smith. Good to see you, Sats and Sunsets. Got freaking hairs floating around here. We got some ducks in the chat. We got Ginger on Rumble, on YouTube. We got Jake. Good morning, Ginger. Good to see you, man. Jake's over in Rumble and on Zapstream. Micah Lou's here. Good morning. Sharon B says, good morning. Is this the right place to buy some cheap Kaspa toilet paper? Sharon B, nice to see you in the chat this morning. We're not buying any of that. I don't even like saying that. And it really has nothing to do with the token itself. They don't call it token, but I don't know. Anything that isn't Bitcoin is a shitcoin, in my opinion. And if you think otherwise, you're pretty much just fooling yourself. So we don't need to give it any energy because it doesn't really deserve it, honestly. It has no energy in the network, and we're not going to give it any more energy here. Stripes, there he is. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Stripes. Eatable Zebra. Praetorian says, I'm happy you got the membership, Sharon B. And Sharon says, thank you, Praetorian, for all you do. You are much appreciated. Amen to that. Kachuk, Camille, Joshua says, let's give the old YouTube an algorithm boost. Yeah, we need it over there. Holy man. I'm not going to say it. I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. Sharon B said, I could watch the ducks all day long. Okay, well, then we'll keep it. We'll keep it going. I like it too. I think it's a good kind of lead up to the show. And I'm going to try to put different parts on so we're not watching the same ducks do the same things every day. That was a different video today even. So I think there's about 9 hours worth of ducks in a pond that we can go through. So we should be good. Joshua says, good morning, Rumble. Hey, Josh, the Pens lost last night. That was a tough one. 0-0. 0-0 heading to OT. I didn't watch it. I just checked the scores this morning, but that's got to be that's got to sting. Put up a good fight, though. Put up a good fight. VHF's here. Good morning, VHF. Joshua says, Jor don't like the bare necks around here, around these parts, eh? It's true. That's true. I wore red today in honor of the Rumble Rednecks. This is my Rumble hoodie. Marco's here. 1943. Marco. Good morning, Marco. Ducks are relaxing. Yeah, I said pure relaxation to Alex Jones. Stripe said, thank you, sir. I didn't even realize I'd slipped back into Rumble mediocrity. Good morning, Marco. Good morning to the Ducks. This is the Duck ASMR stream. Forrest Hoddle's in the chat. Forrest Hoddle, the man himself. He says, is this Tony Soprano's pool? I don't know where that's from. It looks like just a nature channel. But I like it. Victus, the peacock, the Bitcoin peacock. Hey, there's Lux. Let's see what Lux is doing here. Let's open up the window. Luxter. Psst, psst. See what Lucky does. We had some good... oh, here he comes. Look at that. I swear to God, Lucky's a better listener than Arnie. He's a very unique cat. Hey, Lux. Oh, jumped off the ledge now. He's probably sitting right under the window. He's like, where'd he go? Who's calling me? Arnie is much smarter than Lucky. I know that for a fact. But Lucky actually listens. I've never seen a cat that actually listens. Arnie listens. He just decides when he wants to listen and when he doesn't. He's too smart for his own good. That's Arnie's problem. He's too smart. John Tucker, Johnny boy, says, have I arrived at the XRP Bull Lounge? Yes. What the duck? Add a few ducks to the survival. That's a good call. We need to add the ducks to the our list that we had going there. It's a good call. No Bitcoin talk today. We're just going to watch ducks. We're going to watch Jor feed ducks. People out there still looking for the servers. Look at this. We got John. We got Count Von Berg. Everybody's looking for the Bitcoin servers. Okay, what is VHF said it was funny yesterday on another channel. The host literally said the banks are a scam, and yet he believes in the XRP, the banker's coin. I mean, they don't. XRP is an IQ test. Bitcoin's ego test. I'll shut that window. Sorry, Lux. Messed with him. He was just sitting peaceful on his ledge there, and then I messed him up. Sorry, buddy. Oh, well, he'll be fine. Yeah, Bitcoin's an ego test. XRP is an IQ test. It's kind of sad. Look at this. Oh, Kachok said, do we get some good head today? What? Trying to keep this PG, Kachok. He's talking about the Guinness head. We split the G the other day. Kachok sent in a nice zap for splitting the G. So did Rich. Speaking of Rich, there he is right there. And I missed Janizo. Janizo says, finally catching you live, Jor. Greetings from Belgium. Greetings. Cheers to you, Janizo. Ali Johnson picked up a Passport Prime. Nice. How is it? Ellery. Good morning, Sis Daily, Cy Daily. I would like to hear if you have any knowledge and advice for the continuation of Bitcoin, which is Kaspa. I would like to hear if you have any knowledge and advice for the continuation of Bitcoin, which is Kaspa. Never heard of her. Greetings from Commie Canada. Hey, that's I recognize that face. I don't know. This is Sue. Sue, also known as Zuzan. I think I like Zuzan better. Zuzan better. Although Sue is also a member over on YouTube, so we got to give her some love from Commie Canada. Yeah, no doubt about that. But you get to decide. You get to decide in your own head of what your outside is. You can give as much attention to the communists, the crime minister, the shysters, or you can just say, you know what, you're not mine. You don't tell me what to do. I decide what to do. I control up here. I control my own destiny, my own freedom. It's how you got to live. Otherwise, you're going to be in some big trouble in these next couple of years. But anyways, Josh says Pens or Dunsky, but the Criers were a better team when she boiled down to her. Let's see if they can upset the Canes. Letha won't like that though. And Letha said, I had to look that up, Josh. Canes are my hometown team. Letha, you didn't even know the Hurricanes were in they got to be Raleigh, right? Raleigh, North Carolina. I think that's where they play. Letha, I might be coming. I might be coming your way soon. I might be coming to Carolina some point here soon. Scope things out. Scouting trip. Yeah, Lucky, I don't know where he went. I think he's waiting by the window here now. I messed with him. Sue says, thanks for the love. Of course. Thanks for being here. But where's Zuzan? That's what everybody wants to know. Where's Zuzan? I like Zuzan. This is the XRP Bear Lounge. No, this is the XRP are uneducated dipshits. Delusional lounge. Matt FRL, good morning, team. It's a great day to stack sats. It's always a good day to stack sats. Great day. Good to see you, Matt. Keeping my bot coin for at least 10 years. Cheers to the whole coiners. Oh, look at that. It's big swinging dick. Cheers to the whole coiners. I'll cheers to that. Whole coiners are going to be the new elites of the world. And we're not going to be drinking baby's blood. Praetorian says, put those ducks in some pad thai. Bitcoin, not botcoin. Yeah, that's okay. I did watch it this morning, Kachuk. I really enjoyed it, actually. He's looking good. Jeff Booth's looking good. Let me see. I have it in my history here, so it should be pretty easy to bring up. But big shout out to Jeff Booth, man. I don't know if anybody in Bitcoin deserves more credit than him. I think he's going to go down as he definitely doesn't get the respect he deserves. Well, I mean, he kind of does. He's everybody knows Jeff Booth. But man, nobody talks about Bitcoin the way that Jeff Booth does. I would say that I kind of came from the school of Jeff Booth for like the philosophy approach to Bitcoin. That's what really helped me understand Bitcoin on a much deeper level, a much different level than what we see on the internet, thanks to Jeff Booth. And then Matt Odell, helped me a lot with the understanding like the freedom side of things and the technical things. And then Gigi as well. Those are kind of like my three mentors. I've never met any of them yet, but Jeff Booth, Odell, and Gigi, I'm kind of a spawn of those three idealisms, I guess you'd say. I learned a lot from these three. So Jeff Booth is one of my guys, man. And every time, even today when I was thinking about what we're going to talk about today, I was thinking about the content, the beef, the meat for today. And I was like, I feel like we just talked about this a couple weeks ago, but then I was like, you know what? We need to talk about it again because it is important. And I think that important things you have to hear over and over and over and over and over again. And I instantly thought of Jeff Booth. I remembered when I was trying to figure this stuff out and really wrap my head around it, I had to listen to Jeff Booth 10 times, at least. It probably was 20 or 30 times. I had to hear him say the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. And I never understood it. I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then like on the 30th time, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. So, you know, it's pretty easy to, from my shoes here, having been inspired by those three guys, Jeff Booth, Odell, and Gigi, it's kind of allowed me to take a slightly different path than most, I would say. Because when you think about it, even those three guys like Jeff Booth, Odell, Gigi, like they've never had like real mainstream channels. I mean, Odell kind of does, but they've never had like sponsors. They've never been like owned by anybody. They've always just been able to speak freely. And I think people really appreciate that on the other end, because I did. And so that's how I've kind of tried to form my own little thing here, is based on that. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. It'd be really easy to just cover the latest treasury company or the latest, clip, the latest piece of news in Bitcoin. But I think there's a lot more things to talk about than that. That's just kind of like very, the iceberg meme. That's kind of like the very top of it. And then you really want to get to the bottom of it, the bottom of the iceberg. That's where the fun is. And it is really a never-ending rabbit hole. You could spend every waking hour for the next 10 years in Bitcoin, and you'd still have things to learn. So you can go down the technical roads. You can go down the, philosophy roads. You can go down the history. You can go down the economics. Tons. Never ends. So it's good. It's good for a guy with a daily show. But look at Jeff Booth here. I like those glasses. I might get some glasses to be like Jeff. He's looking good. Best I've seen Jeff Booth look in a while. Looking sharp, looking thin. Looking fit, I should say, not thin. Thin's kind of a not a derogatory word, but I don't know. I don't like the word thin. I like fit. I think people being fit is an extremely lost art these days. We've kind of Hollywood and the mainstream and the tabloids. And this isn't a shot at anybody here. I don't take it that way. But they kind of push this dad bod narrative for a couple years, almost as if to just say, hey, I don't have to train. I don't have to have any discipline. I don't have to show up. I don't have to eat well. I can just do whatever I want and dress however I want and gain as much weight as I want. And it's sexy. That's the lie that they told. So I'm much more on the other side of things. I think that was a big time psyop. So big shout out to Jeff Booth. He's looking good. He's looking good. Good to see. It's probably because he moved to America. It's probably because he moved to America. Sad but true. Joshua says, my YouTube algorithm keeps showing me the actor turned economist, Ben McKenzie, Ryan from the OC, slandering crypto, which I agree with, but smashing down Bitcoin too. Yeah, that guy's something, man. I never really liked. Did anybody here watch the OC? I used to love the OC. I had a big time crush on Summer. And what was the other one? One Tree Hill. Those were kind of the two main dramas when I was a teenager. One Tree Hill and the OC. I like Seth though. I like Seth Cohen. He was my favorite guy. I never really liked Ryan too much. But Moravian's here. Look at this. Moravian back again today. Holy man. Moravian's been showing up, man. Moravian, hat tip to you, buddy. Another double shot of espresso from Moravian. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. And we got pornster.net. Pornster.net says good morning. Good morning, pornster.net. You never know. You never know what's going to happen here. Ewok, Zap 420. Nice number there. Ewok says Booth's Bitcoin 26 talk was significant, especially when you consider the audience it was delivered to. Yeah, I was actually going to play some of it today, but let's play it because I actually had the idea to play some of it today, but I like the fact that you guys and girls are talking about it here. So let's watch it. I'm just going to play like 2 minutes of it because there was a part of this that I was like, damn, I like that. Because it just kind of changes. There's, about 2 minutes here we'll watch. This was the part that I was going to share this morning. So let's just watch it. Give some props to our guy. Some well-deserved props to our guy.
So let's try something. I want each of you in the audience, just imagine this light as you sitting there, just in this moment. Now I want you to think about all of the people who shaped you, your parents, your friends, the books you've read, the podcasts you've watched, the teacher who changed something in you, the people close to you that you've lost. Each one of those people is a part of you, that you carry on them in you. Their words live in your thinking, their choices shaped you. Now I want you to go back further. Your 4 grandparents, their hopes, their dreams, their tragedies, their failures. I want you to think of every person who impacted them. The friend who convinced your grandfather to move to a new city where you live today, how their experiences shaped them. And further back, your 8 great-grandparents, the random stranger whose act of kindness changed your grandmother's life. That one person, this one person, you, in the center there, and the interconnectedness of everyone who's ever touched you. Now look around, look to your right. Look at the person beside you. Their worldview is different than yours. But the result of the same thing, crafted from the stories they tell themselves, people who impacted them. And we are the combination of trillions of decisions across millions of people, across generations, bringing us right here, right now, in the only moment that matters. Because in this moment, we can change. And so for me, one of the things that I'm filled with awe and gratitude, knowing that all of these people in my life that I can't even thank shaped me to where I'm sitting here and able to have potentially their positive impact on me could bring positive impact to you. And why is that context so critical before we get started? Because the future is bent into reality by us. We shape tomorrow, but we're trapped in yesterday's thinking, our mental models of how things looked yesterday. And so very often we don't live in the moment. We're defending our past. We're defending our past because our past is our identity. And changing our identity means something was wrong. And so we hang on and we don't measure our time in that moment with those people. The only thing, the past doesn't exist anymore. The only thing you can change is right now in this moment, which then cascades into the future. And really why I wanted to go here first is.
Oh yeah, I want to pause it right there because if you look at the, I mean, he's got a good slide there. It says the future is bent into reality by our thoughts and actions now. So I mean, there's a couple things I want to talk about this, but that's a pretty good start. And then it says the past, which is gone. It's kind of blurred out or grayed out. It says our past constraints, experiences, mental models, what we know, our past. And our future, possibilities, innovations, new paradigms, what could be. The paradox is that we shape tomorrow, but we're trapped by our yesterday's thinking. Man, how many people struggle with that? Anybody who tells you that Bitcoin's not going to win, anybody who tells you that Bitcoin's a scam, they're basically just clinging on to the past. Humans hate change. Everybody knows that, but I don't think people really understand that. Humans hate change. So the people who talk negatively about Bitcoin without actually having spent any sort of time studying Bitcoin and realizing that this is the only thing that's going to save them, the only economic thing, or the only thing that's going to save them economically. And it's much bigger than that. Anybody who's in this chat right now understands how much bigger Bitcoin is than just a money. And if there's been one thing that we've been talking about over and over and over again for this last month or two, it's that Bitcoin is much bigger. It's a tool. Bitcoin is a tool. But really what it is, it's more than just a money. And this is what it's at the top of my YouTube channel. It says Bitcoin is more than just a money. It's a new approach, a brand new approach to freedom, to record keeping, recording history, and a unit of measurement. And that unit of measurement aspect of it. So of course you got the freedom, right? Because I think it's really important to really understand what that means. I keep saying it over and over again. Bitcoin's more than a money. It's a brand new approach to freedom, recording history, and unit of measurement. And so the freedom part of that is that you can take this, you can take your energy, your time, your capital from the fiat system, and you can put that into Bitcoin voluntarily. No one's going to make you do it. No one's going to force you to do it. You can do that voluntarily. And when you do that, you're entering a brand new system. I think that's what people really fail to understand about this. When you do that, you steal time and you steal attention and you steal capital, which is really what's keeping that whole system alive. You take it out of there and you put it into this new network, this new system called Bitcoin. And with that, you can operate. You have much more freedom of speech. You have much more freedom of mobility. You have much more freedom overall, because in that system, nobody can steal from you. Nobody can debase you. Nobody can come to your house and seize what you have. You're free. So that's the freedom part of it too. And the fact that you can't touch it, the fact that it's intangible, is what people think that Bitcoin's biggest issue is, but it's actually its greatest superpower. Because you can now hop on an airplane and take those 12 words in your head. You can land and you can carry all of the wealth that you have with you. You cannot do that with anything else. There's nothing else that allows you to do that other than Bitcoin. I mean, you could do it with XRP. You got 12 words to an XRP wallet, but you're still tied to the corporation that is Ripple. You're still at their mercy, essentially. So there's certain parts of it, but Bitcoin is full freedom. 360-degree angle of freedom. The record keeping, the recording history. Everybody knows the winners write history. The winners write history. And there's a famous quote from, who is it, Julian Assange? I think it was Julian Assange. We actually covered this in the quote about writing history. I think it was him. Maybe not. But that's kind of what the idea was, that the winners of the wars have been able to write history and put that into the books. And that's our reality. That becomes our history, because that's all we know. Nobody's told us otherwise. And we're kind of going through this time right now in history where we're learning much more. There's much more truth coming out. The consciousness of the globe here is going upwards. And it's one of those things where you cannot put it back in the bottle. You cannot put the genie back in the bottle. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's out. And as we keep having these conversations, as we keep showing up here every day, as we keep taking our time and energy from that system, it cannot stop. It cannot be stopped. I'm sure most people have heard that phrase, nothing can stop what's coming. And they kind of laughed at it, but it's because of Bitcoin. Without Bitcoin, it could be stopped. Without Bitcoin, we would keep repeating this, because even if we had 50 or 100 years of utopia or bliss or liberty, let's say liberty, 100 years of liberty, even if we had that, the way that it's always worked is that they would find a way to take control of it. And they'd find a way to take control of it. They'd threaten you with violence. They'd come to your house. They'd steal what you have. And then they would rewrite the history book so that everybody just forgot what happened. So that then they would have the next 100 years or however many years. But that all changes. And I think that that's really at the core of this whole thing, is that there's a lot of economists and there's a lot of analysts and experts and thought leaders that don't believe that change can happen. They don't believe it because they're still hanging on to the past. They're still thinking that we can never change. No matter how many good years we have, we're always going to have bad years. There's the people at the top, the elites, the bloodlines, whatever you want to call them, they're always going to find a way to get their control back. Always. That's just how it's always been. So that's the way it's always going to be. And that's bullshit. Because they're looking at the world from a different lens. They haven't seen Bitcoin. They don't know the potential of Bitcoin. They don't know how much Bitcoin is going to change our direction here going forward. Because yes, I agree that has always happened. And so it's very easy to cling to that narrative. But the difference here is Bitcoin. The difference here is that we now have something, property, that you can own yourself without having to worry about who's going to come and take it from you, because you can store it differently, you can hold it differently, you can secure it differently than anything we've ever had before. So the people who are looking at the world through that lens of fiat, clinging to history, it's important to understand history. Absolutely. I think that's probably the best thing that you can learn. But that doesn't mean that's always going to be that way, because there's different things introduced that change the course of the future, change the path forward. And I believe that Bitcoin is that thing. So that's why I do think that this is different. That's part of the recording history. And then the unit of measurement. If you're spending your time in fiat, if that's your only lens of the world, things are just going to continuously get worse and worse and worse. And prices are going to go up and up and up, because this thing's going one direction right now. This train, the fiat train, is going one direction. The only thing that they can do is print more money. There's no other solution. There's nothing else that they can do other than print more money to continue propping up the system. And so what that means is that life is going to get more expensive for everybody. Some people have assets. They're going to be beneficiaries of that in some way, or they're at least going to break even. But the people who don't hold assets, they're fucked. And their life is going to get worse and worse, and things are going to cost more and more through that lens. When you're measuring the world in dollars, in US dollars, you're doomed. Absolutely doomed. There's nothing at all that you can do to change that. Doomed. Fucked. Fully fucked. And I just wish more people could see that. But again, it takes time. It takes work. I just talked about the fact that I had to listen to Jeff Booth say that 30 times before I really understood that. So imagine if I stopped after 25. Imagine if I was just like, this is kind of stupid. I kind of get what he's saying, but I'm going back to my 9-to-5 job. I'm going back to my pension. I'm going back to the game on Sundays. So what you do is you change your lens. If you're living in Bitcoin, even though there's going to be highs and lows day to day, week to week, your life is continuously going to get better. And on the other side of that, Bitcoin's going to benefit everybody. But the transition, those who are still looking at the world through that fiat lens, they're going to suffer dearly. But the people who are looking at the Bitcoin world through a Bitcoin lens, it's not going to be that bad, because we have hope. Again, this show here that I do every day is called Reason to Believe, because we have a reason to believe. And the tool, because of that, is Bitcoin. And so when you look at the world through that lens, everything changes. Your life gets better and better and better and better. Not just because your purchasing power's up, but because you see things differently. You understand what's really going on here. You can look at things through a much different lens that the fiat system cannot see. So yes, your purchasing power goes up, your life gets better, and everything gets cheaper for you. Again, month to month, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be months where if you're all in Bitcoin the last 6 months, things have actually been more expensive for you. But over the long run, over 4 years and 8 years and 10 years and 20 years, your life is continuously going to get cheaper when you're measuring things through Bitcoin, when you're measuring the world in sats instead of US dollars. And that's a huge shift. So it's much more than just getting rich. That's a whole experience of your life being different. And that's another thing too, is like gold bugs out there. Like they think that we're on the same team. Actually, they don't. A lot of Bitcoiners think that we're on the same side of gold bugs, which I don't agree with. I used to think that, but I'm allowed to change my mind here, I think anyways, but I don't think that anymore, because who's the biggest holder of gold? Central banks. So you holding gold is essentially saying, hey, what you have is very valuable. I value that. You're giving them more value than they deserve. Gold is just fucking pet shiny rocks. That's what it is. I don't care what anybody says. It's a lie. And there's a reason why the founding fathers and JFK, they wanted to use the silver dollar. They didn't have Bitcoin at that time, but they weren't using gold for many reasons. Henry Ford, he came up with this idea for an energy currency because he knew that gold centralizes. Gold can be corrupted. Gold centralizes power and incentivizes violence. And the other part of that too is gold bugs have this very doomer outlook of the future. They're basically hoping that humanity fails. They're hoping that we go into a doomsday Mad Max scenario. So their pet rocks are suddenly, they think is going to be more valuable. So they've spent the last decade or 2 or 3 betting on the world to fail. Bitcoiners, on the other hand, we're betting on humanity. We're betting that we're going to figure this out because we understand how amazing we are and how powerful we are. And the fact that we actually do have the ability to change the future. We're crazy enough to think that. But even so, even if we end up being wrong here, even if Bitcoin fails and goes to zero, would it suck? Yeah, it'd be the worst. But those 5, 6, 7, 20 years that I spent looking at that world through that lens, a very hopeful lens, nobody can ever take that from me. And I'd say that the finite time and energy that we have on this earth, I would much rather spend being optimistic and hopeful for the future as opposed to betting on a Mad Max scenario. So Bitcoin is not, and I kind of went on a huge tangent here, but it's because of Jeff Booth, but that's the difference there. Bitcoin isn't just a money. Bitcoin changes every single aspect of you. Every cell in your body changes when you start figuring out what's going on here. When you start studying Bitcoin, as we say. And I made a post last week saying it's more important to study Bitcoin than it is to buy Bitcoin. Once you study it, you're probably going to get some. But it's all about understanding and seeing the world through a different lens, measuring the world through a different lens. And if you can do that, if you can break out of that fiat slavery system, break out of your handcuffs, break out of the cage that's already open, right? Like the cage is open. Most people are sitting in this cage with an open door, but it's scary out there. It's uncomfortable for them. So they just stay in the cage. So I say, fuck that. I'm betting on humanity. Apologies for the swear words. And we're an hour into it. Now, it might have been the fastest hour of my life. We haven't even looked at the Mempool yet. Frick. We got going a little bit there. Okay, what did I miss here? Sorry, folks. Thanks a lot, Kachok. No, it's good though. That's what we want. We want to be talking about that stuff. I had more to talk about, but I think that's it. I think we'll leave it there. Okay, what's going on here? Josh, Bad Galby said, someone send Ben over here so he can do his 100 hours properly. Yeah, for real. And then Bad Galby and Joshua are both saying Naily. I don't know who Naily is. Who's Naily? Oh, that's Nathan and Haley. I gotcha. One Tree Hill. Gotcha. Sin Diesel's here. Sin Diesel, 18 and a 45. Thank you, Sin. Good to see you, man. And Bad Gal B says, R.I.P. Uncle Keith. That was one of the saddest clips in television history for me. There's a couple like that. Uncle Keith dying. I think the saddest I've ever been watching a movie, though. I think the saddest I've ever been, and probably the first time I cried watching a movie, was Hardball. Is it Hardball? I think it's Hardball with Keanu Reeves and the team of Little League Baseball. Hardball. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But G-Baby gets shot. Man, that was the worst. I think it was Hardball. I gotta know now. Hardball. Yep, Hardball. Oh man, G-Baby. What a beauty. Oh man, I just got goosebumps. I just got chills. G-Baby. I wonder what G-Baby's doing now. Because G-Baby hit the home run. He hits the home run. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. If you haven't watched Hardball yet, That's a movie. But that was the saddest I've ever been. That's the saddest I've ever been watching a movie. Gee, baby. Zuzan. We're going to call you Zuzan. Even though you're Sue today, we're going to call you Zuzan. Yeah, I am Zuzan. Boomer Bitcoin Babe. I like that name. Zuzan, the Boomer Bitcoin Babe. Paulie D, head voice, says a modest tax refund this year will go directly into Bitcoin. For these evil bastards to provide me with more corn is a small victory. Shout out Paulie D. And okay, it looks like Paulie D also received a membership, a castle. A new castle has been built by Chuck. And we got another redneck in the chat. Congratulations, Paulie D. And thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that very much. Thank you, Chuck. Chuck rocks. Amen to that. Looking good in red. Amen. Marco says, last night I updated this piece of shit ledger and it got stuck. Bootloader mode. Yikes. Hope I'll manage to find another and buy a cold card in the Netherlands. Last night I updated this piece of shit ledger. Whew, man, I feel bad for anybody still using a ledger out there. But I mean, if you have no other choice, I get it. Interesting fact, I never checked my recovery phrase. I'll let you know whether it was successful when I get back home in a month or two. Oh my God, man. Marco, I feel like you've been in way too many chats to be speaking like that. I'm speechless. Satster, Bitcoin 444. Adam. Good morning, Adam. Good to see you. Raid chat yesterday was reassuring of how early we are. Yeah, I know. What was that in? Was that that wasn't Badlands? That was a different one. But yeah, they were not having Bitcoin. Just like you taught me about Bitcoin, I want to give you advice to learn Kaspa. It's really advice from a friend who learned a lot from you, and thanks to you, I entered the world of crypto strongly. You know, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say to you, Cy Daily. By the way, what was with the altcoin daily shit on the Bitcoin conference yesterday? But Cy Daily, here's what I'll say to you. Don't get lost in the weeds. Don't get lost in the weeds. I feel like Kaspa people, they have this obsession over like what they think is going to happen. And that's the only way. Like they keep talking about Bitcoin not having enough throughput. Bitcoin doesn't have enough throughput. Bitcoin doesn't have enough throughput. They just keep repeating the same shit over and over again. And that might be true. That might be true. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I believe that Bitcoin in the last 10 years, a lot of things have changed. There's been a lot of improvements made, we'll call them. Whether it's Lightning, whether it's Liquid, whether it's eCash, these things have been built that allow for payments. I know they're not perfect. And I think that that's what Kaspa people get so wrong. They think that Bitcoiners believe that Bitcoin is perfect. It's not. It's not. And actually, there's a lot of days where I'm like, thank God we're not on a Bitcoin standard yet and everybody's not using Bitcoin, because it would be a massacre. But that doesn't change the core of Bitcoin. That doesn't change the fair launch. That doesn't change the absolute scarcity and the fact that you can go back 17 years in history and look at every single transaction that's happened. And I know Kaspa actually shares a lot of these same traits, but they're different because Kaspa is not a store of value. It's not a store of value. And nobody knows what it is. It doesn't have any sort of network. And I hate that I'm even giving this any sort of airtime right now, but it just bothers me because there's people out there like this guy or girl, but that's it, who are getting tricked. And instead of holding their value, storing their value in Bitcoin, they're being misled down this path of thinking that Bitcoin's not perfect, so we're going to go over here. When nobody gives a fuck what Kaspa is, or they don't know, they've never heard of it before. It's not just one thing, and that's what Kaspa really gets wrong. The people in Kaspa community get wrong. They think it's like one thing that needs to be fixed, or If they fix that, then everything's good. But they don't see the other implications of that. They don't understand the whole view of it, right? So Kaspa is probably better at Bitcoin at certain things, but nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody gives a shit. They don't have any network. They don't have any security. The hash to like Bitcoin 12 years ago, like it's gone. The train's left the station. We're going that way. And Kaspa people are just kind of like, they're smart people. They're very intelligent people. They really are. They're kind of like, I don't know. I don't agree with their approach to it at all. I think they're very repulsive in a lot of ways. And they think that they're, I don't know. That's the thing is like, I don't claim to be smart. I don't. And maybe I think that that's some days a benefit to me is I don't claim to know everything. I'm not trying to fix Bitcoin. I'm not trying to find the new Bitcoin. I understand what's happening. I understand what's happening here. And I'm hooking my card up to that because that's best for me. That's best for my family. And that's best for, I believe, the world. Even if it's not perfect right now, things usually work out, right? If there's enough energy, if people are working in the same direction, things usually get fixed or changed or something, upgraded. Solutions are built when problems exist. There's no problem yet, right? And that's the other thing that Kaspa people are missing here is like they think that they've come up with this big solution, but the world hasn't even really figured out it's a problem yet. So even if it is a solution, nobody gives a shit. And I believe once Bitcoin actually further weaves itself into society and we say, hey, here's an issue, we'll fix it. But it hasn't really been an issue yet for Bitcoin. Like, again, go back 17 years, you can see every block that's been mined. And yeah, we've had some like really high demand moments on the layer 1 network, but you can get on there for like less than $1 right now. I helped somebody send a transaction today, and shout out, he might be listening to the show today, but I helped him send his very first Bitcoin transaction yesterday. And I think it cost like 80 sats. What is 80 sats? Like less than a dime? So that's the delusion there, is they think that they've solved this big problem, but it's not even a problem yet. And I think that the only way you create solutions is when you have some stress on the network. That's kind of what came with Lightning. And again, Lightning's not perfect. I agree. Liquid's not perfect. I agree. eCash is far from perfect. I agree. But you don't really find solutions until the problem's bad enough. So we're not there yet. And even if there are certain solutions that are upgrades to Bitcoin in that way, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Nobody's going to use Kaspa as just a medium of exchange and then go back to Bitcoin and swap it back and forth. It doesn't make any sense. Humans are lazy. So if I can store my wealth in Bitcoin and I can easily convert that into Lightning easily without any sort of friction, I'm going to do that. Humans always choose the path of least resistance. You're not going to have somebody who is storing their value in the best store of value, but then using something else to, like, they just don't have any sort of logic. I think that's their biggest issue, is that they're too far into the weeds. They've looked into it too much. They're looking at the fine print too much, and they're missing the bigger picture. So even if it is like a solution, it's just not, it doesn't work. So, I mean, you can bet on it. Like, if you think that there's a chance that Kaspa is going to somehow fucking outdo Bitcoin, outperform Bitcoin, become a better store of value than Bitcoin, be more globally recognized than Bitcoin, put like 5% in Kaspa. But like, don't waste a bunch of time trying to convince people to buy it. It's just, it does, I don't know. It's crazy. It really is. So we went from Jeff Booth to Kaspa. Frick. I was riding high. But, I think it's important because there's a lot of people out there who don't really know. And I think that that's what Kaspa has done a really good job of finding the people who don't really understand what's happening. They don't understand what makes Bitcoin so unique and so special. And so then they just kind of get swayed. They're like, oh yeah, Bitcoin can't scale. So Kaspa can. I'm going to just sell all my Bitcoin and go over here because this guy with a cat profile picture told me to do it. Good morning, Sin. To the Moon says, no way, man. Money is more important than gifts. Ordinals make the cost of nodes go up drastically. Destroys decentralization. Mara is attacking Bitcoin. Money has to come first. The rest can be on L2. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. I agree with your view, but Mara is using these beautiful words to promote their dark agenda. I'm not in support of Mara. I hate Mara. I don't know where Mara even came from in here. Daniel says, I love the journey that has taken you and all of us down. Bitcoin is force and contemplation for those who are awake. 100%. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm sure some of the Kaspa people are watching the stream today, and they're going to take some clip and try to make me look silly on Twitter. I'm sure it'll happen. You're good, Kachuk. You're good. I'm just messing with you. You know that. Hey, nobody wanted to buy When Come Jesus a membership? What the hell? Praetorian says, we are a legion of self-sovereign individuals. The political community of the world should be nervous. I agree, man. I agree. They're clinging on to power, but it's not going to be for very much longer, I believe. Yeah, and it was the last panel of the day. Or it was right before I think it was the last. No, it wasn't the last one. Second last, I think. But either way, what are we doing? What are we doing? Sats and Sunset says Charlie and Lost. Never heard of that one. Charlie and Lost. I don't really want a sad one, though. I'm more of like a comedy kind of guy, you know? I like comedies and thrillers. I don't like scary movies or... Sin said, Jory, you're the Ben McKenzie of Kaspa. I will gladly take that title. But I actually think that Forrest and Rajat have actually done a better job than I have. I just haven't paid too much attention to it. And now it's kind of flipped where I find myself talking about it more and arguing more while they're just like, they've muted everybody there. But yeah, let's just say Maple Bitcoin is the Ben McKenzie of Kaspa. Where are the Kaspa servers? Who knows? Satster says, one around node so I can run knots in 110. Just be careful with the 110. Just be careful with it. I don't know. I'm not gonna get too far into it. I actually think Forrest did a very good job of kind of summing everything up. But there could be some disastrous scenarios that play out with 110. I don't know. I obviously don't think that spam should be on the Bitcoin network. Obviously, I run knots, and I don't want any sort of legal implications of dummies putting shit on there and me storing it. So I run knots, but you don't just tie knots with 110. Like it's not just you like knots, so you automatically like 110. 110 has a lot of potential for damage in Bitcoin, and I just don't agree with how they're doing it. It's one of those things, man. It's like, it's not broken. It's not broken. It's working perfectly fine right now. I don't know. I don't want to shit on it because I really believe that they have good intentions. I do. But they're just going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. They're moving it too fast. They're trying to force it through. The soft fork aspect of it could lead to, I don't know. Bitcoin just doesn't need it right now. You know, Bitcoin's got enough shit to deal with. I know it's going to get through it. It's just like how painful do you want it to be? How much more ammunition do you want to give the mainstream about Bitcoin? I don't know. End rant. Yeah, exactly. End rant. Yeah, I mean, just really understand. I'm not going to tell you what to do, obviously. You know that. I'm not going to say run it or don't run it. I'm just saying, make sure you know what's going on here. Understand what the implications are, whether they get 10%, less than 10%, more than 50%. Like, figure out what the scenarios are and then kind of make your decision based on that. Don't just automatically assume because you run knots that you should support that. And Forrest has made a lot of really good videos on it so far. And I don't know, he's put a lot more time in than I have. So I really rely on Forrest in a lot of ways for that kind of stuff. And based on what he's told me, I don't know. And again, he's not really one way or the other either. He's just trying to understand what it is and what the implications are. Because they're not just changing one thing. They're not just rolling back that one op return filter. There's other things in there. And so there's layers to this. Just like Kaspa. It's not just fix one thing, patch one thing. Because there's trickle-down effects from everything, right? I just don't think Bitcoin needs it right now. And I hope that it doesn't get, I hope it doesn't lead to something disastrous. Okay, I missed some stuff from Joshua here. Oh, he said, I never finished the One Tree Hill series. Nanny Carey was kind of the end for me. You didn't like Nanny Carey? We used to have a huge crush on Nanny Carey as kids. We were in high school. Nanny Carey, babe. Yeah, the early seasons were the best for sure. Josh said gold is very corruptible. Just look at the Romans back in the day, clipping them and in essence, printing more. Bad Gubby said, yeah, after they graduated, the writing got stale. Agreed. Early days were awesome. We all know with Bitcoin, that can't happen. No debasement, no fraud, and a fixed supply. And Josh said the saddest movie for him was The Never-Ending Story. I should probably watch that too, actually. We had that on a playlist here to play. Never-Ending Story. That's with like the fluffy guys, right? Okay, hold on. Just doing something here. Hang on. Just trying to plan something for the here. Thursday. We usually do a hangout, but I don't know if we're in it today or not. Shit hole. It's freaking hard to type and be on a live stream at the same time. I'll tell you that. Praetorian said, I truly thought the Bitcoin was for everyone. After seeing the live chat in the conference, that is definitely not reality. You know, Praetorian, I think that like 90% of those comments were bots. Because it was just like every time I was in there, the same like 3 or 4 accounts were just saying the same things over and over again. And I don't think that anybody could possibly sit there for 3 days and just keep saying the same things over and over again. Metaphor of never-ending story is very deep. Oh, okay. Interesting. Conrad, I missed this. Sorry, buddy. Conrad86 zapped 963, a Conrad zap. He said, good intentions zap coming your way. Thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. Mucho appreciate. Okay, Rumble, we got 40 people over there. Okay, we're doing all right. We got 21 thumbs up. I'll take that. More than half. I'll take that. Man, I just sent a comment to the chat. It didn't make any sense. Spelling mistakes. Hopefully they can figure out what I was trying to say there. Yeah, like I'm running knots too. I agree with that. I don't think the Core 30 should have raised the op return filter. Straight up. I think that was a very dumb decision. I still don't know why they did it. So I voted. I ran knots, but that doesn't mean that I have to subscribe to the 110. And I'm not saying I do or I don't. I'm just saying understand the implications of it. I don't want to sway people, but just understand yourself. It was the same with Knots and Core. Watch the last couple of days of the conference on Bitcoin Mag's Rumble channel. No idiots. Oh shit, Sin. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, Praetorian's right. It was a massacre. Well, we got a little bit distracted today, folks. We're an hour 20 into it. I'm trying to keep these shows to be an hour. So we're already past that. That's unfortunate. But hey, look at this. Big shout out to a couple people here. Zuzan, BitBilly, 44 Ferg, and John Tucker, BTC. Johnny Tucker hopped over to the Rumble. So Johnny, say hello. You might get a little surprise. I don't know if there's any lingering membies out there, but you might get a little surprise. Arnie Boy's back. Should we talk about this now? Do we have time to talk about this now? Yeah, let's do it. We could use it. I feel like I've been ranting a lot already, and I don't really have a whole lot of ranting left in me, but this doesn't need to be a rant. This is just good info here. I just got to find where it is now. Man, if you guys and girls could see the amount of frickin', well, you've probably seen it. The amount of frickin' spreadsheets I got going here. Sharon loves the spreadsheets, though. Here we go. Okay. Found it. Okay, let me bring this up. Hold on. I gotta go grab something here quickly. Let's watch. What should we watch? James Check.
There's two things that keep me bullish no matter what's going on. One, it's a 10x, more than a 10x improvement over its predecessor. I'm a gold holder and I'm a Bitcoin holder. And I can tell you, having used both, Bitcoin's better in every single way. Every single way. History shows that technology, as it evolves and we head to those 10x multiples, it takes over. And the second thing is, look at the quality of people who are Bitcoiners. Look at the diversity of their backgrounds. I'm a tunnel engineer. There's people who are doctors. There's people come from all these like fascinating, interesting backgrounds, and they've all converged on the same thing, being like Bitcoin's like the best thing since sliced bread. You're telling me that all of these smart INTJ engineer types, they're all dumb and idiots? Like, no. The most bullish thing about Bitcoin is the people who get attracted to it. I'm not betting against those people. So many Bitcoiners came up and grew up in an era where the world hated Bitcoin. Every headline was negative. Every government didn't like it. It's getting banned, it's getting shut down. And yet we still formed enough conviction to be like, no way, I'm putting my whole life savings in this thing. We all formed a consensus that this thing kicks ass independently, whilst everyone was telling us that we were dead wrong, and we stuck to our guns. I'm sorry, I'm not betting against those people. They get it.
They get it, baby. They get it. Look what we got on the menu today. Orange salt. This one is replaced. Which one did I take out? It was the green one. What was the green one? I don't know if it was lime. What was it? Citrus. Was it citrus? Whatever the green one was, I got rid of that one. And I started getting the orange one here. If you get this, it tastes exactly like Sunny D. I don't know how many people used to drink Sunny D as kids, but it's got the same kind of taste, same aftertaste as Sunny D, but it doesn't have the 800 grams of sugar in it. So that's Element. Try it out if you haven't yet. And actually, the people who bought some Element using my link, I think they got a free little care package in the mail last month too. I got two of them. I got two addresses here, and I got two different care packages. Let me see if I can find it, just in case. I think if you use this referral code for Element, you get a free bonus pack of like 12 additional samplers. And that's actually how I found Orange, is from the sample pack. So there it is. That's, I guess I should put it in Rumble too. For the Rumblers, The rednecks. There you go. If you're ordering some, use that link and you get a free sample pack from Element. I love this shit. I drink like 2 or 3 of them every day. Got to stay on the ups, you know? Got it. More Tang than Sunny D. You drank that or the taste more like Tang? Tang was also pretty good. I think this tastes more like Sunny D though. They're pretty similar. Nick said mango chili Element is great. Yeah, I still got a couple of those kicking around. It just every time I pour it in the water, it makes me sneeze because it's a little bit spicy. So yeah, they are pretty good though. I really want to try their. I think it's salted caramel. I'm gonna add that to my next order. Salted caramel. I don't know if it'd be great with water, but I think it'd be good with like a nice coffee. Like make a coffee and pour that in there. I think that'd be really good. It wouldn't be, I don't know if it'd be good with water, but I do think it'd be good with coffee. Okay. Citrus, that's what it was. Yes, thank you. Citrus, that's what it was. Mempool check. Yeah, we should check on the mempool. Even though we're running way behind here, we should. We have to. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. Okay, what else did I miss here? Yes, Sharon B loves the spreadsheets. BitBilly, the man of the month. That might be a new prize, the man of the month. Although women have a pretty good shot to win it too. There's some between Maria, Jenny, Letha. There's probably more that I'm missing too. But those are kind of the top 3, I would say, who would have a chance to win the man of the month. But BitBilly, I think, took it in. Definitely the biggest zap. The biggest zap of April, BitBilly. Mark had a big one. Mark had a big one. Who else had a big one the other day? Shani had a big one. Good to see you, BitBilly. BitBilly was hanging in the, I saw BitBilly in the conference chat yesterday. Mempool check, okay. 50-50 chance it goes to the spammer. Okay, here we go. What happened? No, Johnny got it. Johnny Tux picked up the Memby. So that was the Smith, Sats and Sunsets. Purchased a Memby, and the recipient was Johnny Tux. That's a good name, John Tucker. Electrolyte drinks are completely unnecessary and sometimes dangerous unless you train very hard and sweat a great deal. Be careful. Thank you. Sats and Sunset says, good morning. Is this the right place for storm poopers? Yes, it is. Storm poopers. I work out. I train my mind very hard mentally. And I actually work out every day too, but you're probably right. I drink probably 2 of them a day, sometimes 3, but I love them. Love the taste. I think salt was one of the biggest lies we were told too. There's a lot of lies we were told, but salt is one of them. That salt's bad for you. Some salts maybe, but 77,000 to Lucky in early April. That's right. That's right. That was Sats and Sunsets. That was a big one for the month. Rizful. I haven't checked Lucky's wallet for a while. But that's right. We had Sats and Sunsets. We had Mark, and we had BitBilly. They were the big zappers in April. Oh, sorry, Jenny. I missed. And Sharon B. I missed one yesterday from. Oh no, that was today. Sharon B. sent 555 to Lucky Boy, and Jenny. This would have been 2 days ago. She said, "Help pesky human being neighbor dog to play later. Bring neighbor dog. Pesky human bring neighbor dog to play later. Help me, Lucky." Thank you, Jenny. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Water, beer, hard liquor on ice, coffee, and rarely juice. That's all I drink. I got a soft spot for Diet Coke. I know it's bad for me. I know, but it's good. I heard somebody on the internet refer to it as Fridge sig. And I've never looked at it the same way, because that's kind of what it is. Like a fridge sig, like a cigarette, gives you the same kind of boost. Not quite the same, but fridge sig. I really like that one. I like that term for a Diet Coke. Jenny says, Pretoria, Nico's bandana yesterday said storm poopers. Got a text from daycare saying he lived up to it, apparently. I like that one. So Jenny's getting ready with Nico for May the 4th. May the 4th. I just eat it. I do that too, actually. Whenever I'm getting like a headache, I just put like a pinch of salt under my tongue. And it usually helps. It doesn't fully make it go away, but it makes it better because it hydrates you pretty quickly. But you just put it right on your tongue. Saw it on like a... Sharon B says, sea salt, the natural electrolyte. Yeah, you guys are probably right. But I like the taste. Joshua said, Bad Gal B is up 5K though, Arn. I did not see that. It's not showing up in here for me. Well, thank you, Bad Gal B. Hopefully I haven't missed any more of those. That's what I was saying at the start of the show here. Some of Bad Gal B's show up. Like I see a couple of her messages here, but I didn't see her show up in there. So a shot of espresso from Bad Gal B today. God bless. Thank you. Trump loves Diet Coke. I know. So do I. I like Diet Dr. Pepper too. That's one of my favorites. Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay, so how can I see Bad Gal B's here? Show maybe? Anyways, let's get to the mempool here. What are we at here? Good God. Hour 30. I suck at this. You guys. I'm sucky. Okay, well, let's get to this. We'll do this real quick, then we'll get to the whole show what we're going to talk about today, but we'll do it quick. So we're currently at the block height of 947,305. 947,305 blocks have been mined. And you can go yourself and you can look at each one of the blocks, and you can look at each one of the transactions inside those blocks for the last 17 years. You can see every Coinbase transaction, nothing to do with the criminal company, Coinbase. They stole that from Bitcoin. But the Coinbase transaction is the newly generated coins. So every block, that's how new Bitcoin are created, added to the circulation. Dipshit of the day goes to this guy or girl, but that's it. They paid 63 sats to send that. Dummies. All they needed to pay was 2 sats. They would have got into the block. Foundry picked up the block 31 minutes ago. Wow, been a while. Sad for anybody out there who's waiting for their confirmation to confirm. But yes, congratulations to Foundry. Let's see what the difficulty adjustment's at here. We're still behind, 57 blocks behind today. Miners are happy. There we go. You just had your transaction confirmed. Congratulations. Foundry got another one. So we got 36 hours apparently at 11:23 approximately tomorrow on May 1st. We're going to have a new difficulty adjustment. It'll reset. And the miners are going to be happy because it's going to be a downwards adjustment. It's looking like anyways. I don't think it'd be possible unless something crazy happened for that to change in the next 36 hours. But, first time looking at the price today. Not much has changed for like the last month here. But we're still in epoch number 5, epoch V. V for Vendetta, V for Visionaries, V for Ducks Fly Together, and V for epoch number 5. Epoch number 5 means the subsidy is 3.125 every block, every 10 minutes on average. 3.125 new Bitcoin are created, making the total supply 20.02 million in the first 17.3 years. 95% of the supply have been mined. All that's left for the next 114 years right there. My God. So Foundry had a good block. They got the subsidy, the fixed amount, and they got the transaction fees, the variable amount. 5.8 million sats for that one. That's a big one. For the total reward, what they got paid for mining that block, 3.1838. Congratulations, Foundry. And the exchange rate today, you got $1, you got 1 unit of illusion, 1 unit of trash, 1 unit of the worst money in human history. You got one of those, you can trade it for 1,309 units of freedom, 1,309 units of sovereignty, 1,309 units of perfect absolute scarcity, 1,309 units of the best money ever created. Pretty good trade. Pretty good trade. We call that the deal of a lifetime around here. And as somebody said up top, I think it was Joshua, actually. I think it was Joshua. He said, never gets old trading fiat for any amount of fiat, for any amount of... Okay. I did miss some comments over here. I did miss some comments. So I do apologize, Bad Gal B. I do apologize. There, I see the zap now. 5,000 units of freedom. Thank you, Bad Gal B. And we had a great comment here from Ewok. Ewok said, headline, Bitcoin Maxi recommends 5% allocation to Kaspa. I do not recommend that. I said if you have to, if you must, that should be your maximum. Maximum. I have a 0% allocation to Kaspa. That's a good one. Good one. Yeah, that'll be the headline on Twitter from the dipshits on there that reply to every one of my tweets talking about Kaspa. Bitcoin Maxi recommends 5% allocation. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about today, real quick. I wanted to spend more time talking about this, but it's still going to be a good touch point. So the title of today's show is how my 10-year plan to outperform Bitcoin. So there's a couple key points I want to hit on with this. And if you're going through our course, the digital homestead course starting next week, you're going to be seeing a lot of this because this is going to be one of our primary focuses this year because it's the most important part, I think. Obviously, you want to protect your Bitcoin. You want to learn how to do that. Obviously, you want to meet more people, but you also want to make more money. You want to contribute more. You want to become more valuable. Everybody does. It's built within us. It's in our DNA. And, you know, one of the things I wish that I would have learned earlier in my life is this equation. Basically, the more value that you add to the world, the more you get in return. And one of the, you know, we've always heard this term, this phrase, expression that says the more you give, you get. The more you give, the more you get. Everybody's heard that. Everybody's heard that. But I don't think people really understand. I didn't understand what it meant. I just kind of assumed that the more you gave, like financially, right? Like giving to me before getting into this world of crazy world of Bitcoin, giving to me was like giving somebody money, like giving somebody a handout, helping somebody on the street, or buying a round of drinks. That's what it was. And I do think it's still applicable to that. Like the more you give, the more you get. But it's more than that. The more you give, that means the more you provide, the more value that you create, the more you contribute to society and to the universe, the more you get back. That's the law. The law of the universe. The more service you provide to others, the more you get back. You cannot cheat that. You cannot give nothing and get a lot back. That doesn't align with nature. That doesn't align with the universe. So the idea here is that you give. Obviously, you want to get some back in return. But over the long term, it nets out. It nets out. The law of... that's a hard one to say. I know how to say it, but I don't want to. I don't want to, Sin. So I'll just put it up on screen. I'm not going to try to say it. I'm saying it in my mind and it doesn't sound right. So we'll just leave it with a comment, Sin, before I make a fool of myself. Energy in, energy out. What was, let me find a quote here. I think it was from Henry Ford. Henry Ford quote about providing service. Google kind of sucks, honestly. Google kind of sucks. No, that's not the quote. Let's try Perplexity. I like Gemini for some things, but Google kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. What is the quote from Henry Ford about providing value and service to others? See if Perplexity gets it. No. Man, I keep wanting to say this. Reciprocity. No, that's not right. Phonetically. I know how to say that one. Phonetically. Reciprocity. No, that's not right. It doesn't sound right. Is there reciprocity? No. Reciprocity. That's what you guys are saying. Reciprocity. I wouldn't have guessed that. Reciprocal. No. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck. So the idea here, this is the idea. So this whole concept came from a guy by the name of Brian Tracy. And this idea was basically you can become 1,000%. Was it 1,000%? Yeah, 1,000% more valuable in a decade by getting 0.021% better every day. So a lot of people say get 1% better every day. I think that's pretty tough. But I think everybody can get 0.021% better every day. And Brian Tracy, he talked about becoming more reciprocity. That's got to be it. Reciprocity. That's how you guys are pronouncing it in the chat. Reciprocity. Doesn't sound right, but that's how you guys are saying it. So Brian Tracy's formula here was become more productive, increase your performance, increase your output. But my version of it is become more valuable, become more disciplined, become more focused, and increase your network. So we take the same kind of principles that he has here, and we apply each lens here. I had it a little bit differently before, but this is a different spreadsheet, I guess. So this is kind of his formula. He said, spend the first hour on yourself. Maybe before we get into this is kind of the idea here. So if you did this, I don't know what the math on this would be, but if you got 0.2% compounding, and compounding is the key here, right? Because when you're becoming more valuable, when you're adding skills, learning, studying, practicing, putting in the reps, you don't lose that. It compounds. So that's the whole idea here. It compounds, right? It builds on the next day. And think of each task, think of each day like a block. And the real power, and it's funny because we've been talking about Kaspa and Bitcoin, and really the real power right now that Bitcoin has is the blocks. Every block that's mined makes Bitcoin more powerful. Because if you look at a chart between Bitcoin and gold, I think it's a shitty comparison. Gold is a joke. Gold is an absolute joke compared to Bitcoin. It really is. But if you look at a chart comparing the characteristics of gold and Bitcoin, the main thing that gold has on Bitcoin is time. It's been around. People know what it is. People understand the value of gold, or they think they do anyways. I would disagree with that, but they think they do. Their perception of it. It's been around for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, probably longer. So think of each task, think of each day as a block. And every block that you have, it adds to you. It compounds. It makes you better. If you're going, oh, Lucky's chasing something here. That's rare. You get to see Lux in the yard here. I don't know if you can. Oh, yeah, you can see him. I don't know what he's doing. He's got his head in the ground here. Might have caught something. We might have caught Lucky catching something. Oh, What you doing, Lux? He looks like he's on to something. We got eyes on Lux. We got eyes on Lux. What's he going to do here? What's he up to? He's rarely in the yard. I mean, because he's black, right? So there's eagles flying around here. There's hawks. Something can pick him up pretty easily. So he usually stays out of the yard, but he's on. He's tracking something. He looks like a little mini panther. He walks like a little mini panther. Oh, catch you later, buddy. Good luck. Good luck in your travels. I'll keep an eye on him. He's stalking something right now. Oh, yeah. Speaking of staying focused. Here. So, yeah, that's the idea here is that if you can get 0.21% better every day, you compound over a year, over a decade, it turns into something very substantial. And so what is Bitcoin? Right? Like we've heard all these different things about Bitcoin compounding, the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin. Some people think it's going to be 21%, Sailor. Some people think it's going to be 30%. Some people think it's going to be 50%. I have no idea. That's my honest take. I have no idea. I think it very well could be 21%. I also think it could very well be 210%. Because when you have an abundant amount of things being measured by an absolute finite units of measurement, there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling on how high and how much this returns in fiat. But here's the thing, this is why it matters. Is because let's say that you go to work today. Let's say that you go to work today and your take home is $50. That's your value. That's your take home after getting the money and after paying your bills. You get $50 a day. So today that might get you about, if you're in America, that would probably get you about 40,000 sats, maybe about 35 actually. 35,000 sats. If you're in Canada here, that's going to get you about 50,000 sats. But that's kind of like your starting point. That's where you are right now. You get paid. Whatever you have left over, you store that in Bitcoin. This is kind of like your starting point here. So let's just go with 35,000 because most people here are from America. So let's say that Bitcoin continues to grow at 21%. So then, again, I know it's not perfect year to year, perfect upwards. Like I know that I shouldn't have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. I know it's not going to be a perfect straight line. I get that. But let's just say that this turns into times 1.21. So basically what this means, no, that's not right. This would be $50. So equals 50 times 1.21. So again, today that $50 you got, you can buy 35,000 sats. If Bitcoin compounds at 21% a year, that means that you have to find a way to make $60 a day. So that means either you can work more, you can get a raise, you can become more valuable, you can increase your skills, and you can raise your income to be 60. Because right in a year from now, that $50 that you took to buy 35,000 sats, in a year from now, again, all else being equal on a 21% upwards CAGR, that is going to cost you $60. So you can either become more valuable or you can cut down on your expenses. But if you want to have the same amount of sats, the real currency here coming in, then you have to find a way to earn $60 a day. So basically that's what you're competing with. Does that make sense? This is what you're competing against. And if you fail to become more valuable or cut back your expenses, one of the two, I prefer becoming more valuable and increasing your income personally, because you shouldn't have to cut back. And in a world that's becoming way more abundant, you shouldn't have to cut back. So what you want to do there, then you have to get 21% more valuable. You have to become 21% more valuable each year if you want to keep up with Bitcoin. If you want your same take-home amount to get the same amount of sats. And so if you just kind of stood still, if you didn't do anything, if you're just kind of going to a job and getting your 1% inflation rate every year, you're going to be fucked because you're just going to get less and less and less of the real units here. And again, I think that this is very conservative, 21%. It could be 30, it could be 50. But either way, you need to start moving in that direction. I think that's kind of the key point. And so what he says is, he says you spend the first hour of the day on yourself. I spend the first 2 hours on myself. And this has been a game changer for me. The easiest thing that you can do tomorrow to become more valuable is wake up an hour early. Wake up an hour earlier. I know it's easier said than done, but that's literally what changed everything for me. So spend the first hour of the day on yourself. I've been very good at that. Next one here is plan your day. So figure out what you got to do, write it down, and then prioritize it. So figure out what you got to get done, have it on paper, get it out of your head, and then figure out like what the top 3 things are that you want to do, and do those first. That's the next point here. Do the most important thing first. I'm going to admit here, I haven't been very good at this. The first hour of the day on myself, I spend kind of selfishly. I like listening to things. I like reading. I just like sitting there and literally looking out the window for 20 minutes. So this is something that I know that if I did this more consistently, I do it like, sometimes, but I know that if I did this more consistently, that I would become much more valuable. I would free up other time to do other things and have less going on in my brain. So this is something that I'm kind of focused on going forward here. But listen to audiobooks in your car. I think most people watching this already do this. You probably listen. I mean, you're listening to me right now while you're at work or something. So you got that taken care of. You got one of these at least. The next one here, and this one I found to be very, very impactful. Ask yourself 2 questions after every event. So an event would be something like a live stream that I did, or a consultation or a meeting that I had, or a dinner that I went to, or whatever it is. Ask yourself 2 questions after every event. What did I do right? And what would I do differently? So when you say, what did I do right? You're going to essentially strengthen your things that you're doing well. You're going to increase your confidence. When you increase your confidence, that radiates. And people perceive you differently. You give off a different energy when you're confident. So you kind of drive that home. You reinforce those ideas. And you figure out what you did right, and basically give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, I did pretty good there. I'm actually better than I think I am. A lot of people suffer from like imposter syndrome. This is a good way to kind of fix that, because you're focusing on the things that you did right. Next one here is, what would I do differently? So this is a good way to say, hey, I wish I would have done this differently. You write it down. And then for your next event, whether it is a meeting or a consultation or a live stream or a dinner party or a sales call, you change it. You just change one thing because you recognize what you did wrong, you wrote it down, and you implemented it, and you became more valuable. Like it's not rocket science here. It's really not. It's just a matter of understanding what this is and actually doing something about it. And this is an easy one too. It's easy to do, but I don't think most people really understand the power of doing this. Treat every person like a $1 million client, but not everybody deals in sales. So just like treat every person like the most important person on the planet, because to them, they are. And somebody once said, I think it was Maya Angelou maybe, is that people don't remember what you said to them. People remember how you made them feel. And I mean, if you say something that makes them feel away, obviously that matters. But the most important part of that, it was something like that. I might have butchered it, but the most important part is people remember how you made them feel. That's what it is. That's all it comes down to. So if you make them feel like the most important person, they're going to have a very positive view of you. And then when they have a problem that you can solve, you're going to be the one who they think of. And then you increase your value. You increase your income. You're able to keep up with Bitcoin's CAGR. And then you store your value in hard assets. Obviously, we know that here. But the other thing that I would say to this is you have to believe that you can improve. Because if you don't believe that you can get 20% better a year or 0.02% better a day, then you're not going to. You're going to limit yourself and you're going to be stuck exactly where you are today. So you have to believe that. And it's not something that you just decide today, hey, yeah, I can do that. You have to put it on your bathroom mirror. You have to put it on your laptop. You have to put it in places, and you have to say this every single day out loud until you not trick yourself, but you're focused on the right things and you believe it, because you're never going to do something unless you believe that you can do it. And a lot of people, because of what we're going back to Jeff Booth earlier, we're kind of products of our environment. And so if you've always had this limiting self-belief that you can only do this and here's your ceiling, then you're never going to go past that, because the mind doesn't know the difference between reality and perception. So you almost have to like trick yourself into it in a way, but you're not tricking yourself. You're just reinforcing the right things. So you have to believe that you can actually outperform Bitcoin. You have to believe that you can be 0.02% better every day. And when you do, everything changes. Everything changes. And again, I'm not sitting up here telling you that I'm perfect at it. I'm not. Far from. I might hit 3 or 4 of those every day, but a year ago, I hit 0 of them. Or I shouldn't say that. A couple years ago, I hit 0 of them. So what's better, 0 out of 8 or 4 out of 8? 4 out of 8. Maybe next year I'll get 5 out of 8. But you're working in the right direction. You're intentionally moving that way. And as you do a compound, every event, every day is a block in the chain. And the more blocks you have in that chain, the more powerful and valuable you are. So that's it. Talk to you guys later. Good refresher. I think that's going to be one of the main highlights, the main kind of focuses of the new course is the harvest. The harvest. And just like farmers, we're not just going to buy the land and sit on it and hope it goes up in value over time. We're going to be taking action. We're going to be adding value, providing, contributing. So this is the course starting next week. We're going to go through all these every session is going to be one of these different categories here. And here's the harvest. That's where this ties into it, is figuring out how to become more valuable and how to make more money. Because when you become more valuable, when you make more money, you have more Bitcoin. When you have more Bitcoin, you have more influence. And that's what we want. So this course covers a lot of different things here. Kind of the main 2 things I would say, other than the harvest, would be the multi-sig. Everybody's going to be moving towards a multi-sig by the end of 2026, and the succession plan. So that if something happened to you unexpectedly, your family could still retrieve your Bitcoin, restore your Bitcoin. So the entry fee to get into this is laughable. It is. For what you're going to get from this course, it's laughable. But again, it's the first time through it. It's the first time through it. So as somebody going through it for the first time, you're going to get, probably the worst course, the worst course that I do, because I'm probably going to do it every year going forward. First time's always the worst. It's still going to be awesome. It's still going to be extremely beneficial to you, extremely valuable to you. But next year it'll cost double. And the year after that, it'll cost triple. That's just how things work. So you get in, we're starting next week. Get yourself in there if you're not already. You can now join as a free member. We have 11 membership pending requests right now. So I'll try to get to those today. But you can join as a free member. You're not going to get access to the course, but you can get access to the community. And hopefully you'll join us. That starts next week. So that's the new digital homestead course. I just shared the link there. Do I have a link yet? No, it'll be in school, Micah. It'll be in school. You'll be able to access it directly from there. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted. You're not going to miss anything. You'll know what's going on. I'm not just going to randomly start it without telling anybody, but it does start next week, and we'd love to have you in there. Again, you can join for free, but I recommend joining the premium. So you get access to all the content in there, all the courses we've already done, 365 days of Bitcoin, this Bitcoin school, and then this new course and more. I'm going to be looking for some people. Again, the point of this is you want to be making more money. So as this community grows, as this channel grows, I'm not going to be like putting an ad in the newspaper. We're going to be finding people within the community who have put in the work, put in the proof of work, and they're going to be compensated for some things that they're going to be doing. But we'll open that up. No worries. Micah. No worries. You'll be in there. You'll be there. Hopefully. Who was the compound guy you mentioned? Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy. Okay, I missed some comments here. Sorry, folks. I think George's trying to pronounce it with a Canadian accent, so it sounds incorrect coming from us Yanks. Yeah, that's probably right. Reciprocity. Reciprocity doodah. Whoa. What's going on, Aaron? Scared me. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to overtake it. No doubt about that. English is definitely hard. It's so hard. You have to take it from kindergarten to the first couple of years of college in the actual country where it is native language. Yeah. And if you think about Bitcoin like a language, you understand why most people just don't get it. Young Burtis, what's going on? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. He's got a little Trump nod there. All right. Those who are kind won't be left behind. Praetorian, I like that one. Running, lifting, playing an instrument are great ways to improve yourself that you can improve with hard work. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Except running and lifting and playing an instrument probably aren't going to really move the needle. Maybe lifting, maybe running, just to practice the discipline aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, it all kind of ties together. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to cut off YouTube here. So thanks, YouTube, for being here. We've been kind of mixing the YouTube in a little bit more than we have been, but that's also why the show went 2 hours today. So anyways, YouTube, thanks for being here. Rumble, stick with me because we got an important task here to do. So YouTube, we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.